we're going to talk to you a little bit about the Indian classical dance that my mom learned. So, she was born in 1941. Anyone born before 1941? Here? Yes? When were you born?
37.
1937, okay. My dad was born in 1939. He's listening too, he's a doctor. Okay, anyone born before 1941? Probably. Okay, so my mom was born in 1941 in a city of India called Pune. And so all of us come from a part of India which is called Maharashtra. And I think you might know about Mumbai. And Mumbai is very close to where we come from. And that is a part of India where education is very, very important. And that's why my mom's name was Vidya. Vidya, which means knowledge. So education is extremely important. And she went on to study to be a medical doctor. And she taught at a medical school for 27 years. But while this was happening, she pursued her passion, which was classical dancing. And as we go along, I'll tell you a little more about her. But among the many amazing things she did in her life was when she was 41 years old in 1981, she was working as a doctor. She had little children, that's me who was 7 and my brother who was 6 that time. But she went on to study dance, classical dance, and did her graduation, which was a 3-hour solo performance on a huge stage in Pune while she was still working. So it was an amazing achievement, and what you're seeing there, the photo on the right, is of that day in December of 1981. So that's a memory to cherish. After she finished working, after she retired at the age of 54, she took early retirement and she went back to university. And she said this time she went back to university and studied classical dance. She got herself a degree in classical dance at the age of 57. At her graduation, she performed a 45-minute solo performance herself. And the best part is, among all the 18-year-old students, she stood first and she was 57. So this is my mom in short for you. What I'm going to perform today, the first item, it's in a language which is called Kannada. I don't know if you've heard of Bangalore, that's the language which is spoken there. So it's a classical dance piece. When I say classical, for centuries it's been performed in the same way. So it is exactly like opera. Yeah, you can't change opera, you cannot change ballet because that's the way it is. So that's what classical dance is like. So that's the first performance you're going to see. What happens in the performance is, as you know, in the Hindu culture, there are many forms of God. And when I say there are many forms of God, you see one here, we have here. You will see many more. But essentially, what happens is that there is just one God. We all agree there is one God. But we like God to look like ourselves. So what we see in India is that whichever part of India you really come from, the statues, the temples, and the images start looking like the people, the way they look there. And the gist of everything I'm going to say today is each of us finds God in what we love. My mother found God in dance, definitely, because she was dancing till the very, very end, till she was, almost before she went into hospital. I'll talk more about it. But she found her God in dance. Each of us finds God in our love, in our work, in our children, in something. And this is really the gist of the philosophy we're talking about. So we are all seekers, we are all going towards the ultimate joy, the ultimate peace, ultimate happiness. And while we are going there, we are asking someone to come back and help us. So the song we're talking about is about a mother. She's a young mother, she's an adopted mother of a little god called Krishna. He's a little child. And right through the performance, he keeps running away from her. They're playing hide and seek, and then she tries to bathe him, and then she tries to feed him, and every time she tries to decorate his little ankles with anklets and everything else, he just keeps running away, and she wants him back. So this is everything you'll see in the performance. But it ends in a way where the mother is actually going to look at the child and say, open your mouth, because we all know of little children who go and eat, go into the garden and eat mud or do things that they shouldn't be doing. So she finds him gobbling up mud and she's really angry and she says, "Open your mouth, let me see what's in there." And he opens his mouth and much to her surprise, she's able to see the whole universe in his mouth. Now this is obviously a story and it's mythology, but what it means is that when we grow up and our children grow up, sometimes our children surprise us. And we are always amazed by our children's achievements and say, "Oh my God, I didn't know I have actually produced a child like that who could do that." And that's the joy, that's the wonder. She sees that this is not just the little one who keeps running away and I have to chase him back, but he's the one who is going to take care and takes care of the entire universe, the earth. And the end is such that the same God Krishna is manifest in this God here. We have 10 avatars, the 10 forms, where we said that the same Krishna, the same Vishnu, came back to the universe. He came as a fish and saved the earth. He came then as a turtle, then as a boar, then as a half man, as a half lion. He came in various forms. He came as Buddha. He came in many forms. And we are saying today, come back and save the earth. So there is a remix version of this song actually which says, "Come back as Allah, come back as Jesus, come back as anyone, but come back and save the earth." So that's the gist of what we're going to do today. Before I begin, I'm just going to show you a little bit about the language of dance, because it will be nice to have you with me while we perform and just show you what the language is about. When I say language, we have a little sign language. So when we study classical dance, we study what are called single hand gestures and the double hand gestures, both. And each thing means something. For example, this means man, this means woman. And to this, if you add the womb here, if you put the womb in and you've got the man, which is the father, and you've got the mother. But if you have the womb and then you have this or this, you have a son or a daughter. Then yes, we're going to do more of that as we go along. I know you're interested in the interactivity, so we'll do more of that as we go along. This is the woman, this is the man. Yes, this is the peacock. There are lots. I'll be telling you about it. So when you look at what's happening here, think of what the gestures are and what they mean. Also look at the fact that there's just one dancer, it's just me today. And I'm going to be playing the mother, the child, the god, the fish, everyone. So you'll see that every time I turn or go across, I'll be changing the role and going back into the role. So let's start. Are we ready to start today, the first performance?